This is what happens when you got too much going through your mind in one day. I was just kicking back on the computer and a thought just knocked me into the middle of next week. I mean, out of the blue, how you ever just had a thought just blindside you, like you just sitting there kicking back and all of a sudden out of nowhere, just boom, it just hits you. Well, that is what happened to me. And I'm going to explain to you what happened to me. I was sitting here thinking about all of the people, cultures of people that were done wrong by a certain group or another race. And I started thinking about that, like as an example, how the Russians did the Jews, or the Germans did the Jews, or how the white people did the Indians, or how the white people did the black people, or how the Vietnamese did the Laotians. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. And I was just sitting here and I was like, you know what? Black people, my black people, is the only people out of all these people that I know that gravitated towards their oppressor. And what I mean by that is like, you don't never see you, or let me rephrase that. You don't see a flock of Jewish men trying to date German women, because the Germans is the people that did them bad in the Holocaust. You don't see a flock of Indian men running after white women, because the white man was their oppressor. You get where I'm going with this? Why do black men in such a high number, I'm not saying all, but just a high number, or higher than normal, why do they gravitate after the white woman like no other race does? Because there's no other race that does this. You know what I mean? There's no other race that gets on YouTube and argue and brag about dating their oppressor. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you got black women on YouTube. I'm proud to be dating a white man. I'm proud to be with who I am, and you know, black men are no good, and you know what, I had no choice, and this is what it is, and I'm happier now, and I'm just glad that I made this decision. And I'm looking at it from a point of view that perhaps a lot of people haven't taken time to really see it from. It's like, do you actually know what you are doing? Like, do you actually know what you're saying? You're actually running to the arms of your oppressor, the one that oppressed you, or the one that's benefiting from the oppression of your people. See, a lot of people say, well, they wasn't around, or my husband wasn't around when all of this was going on. But I guarantee you, in some way or another, he's benefiting from being white and benefiting from the building of black hands, and from the you know what I'm saying, and how different companies and are prospering from black labor. So even though he might not have been around, he's still prospering from slavery. So let's get that straight. In theory, it doesn't make no sense, but we are the only ones that do this. Same thing with the black male. He gravitates towards the white women, the daughter of the oppressor, the seed bearer of the oppressor. And I hope that black men that watch this video understand that there's no other race of men that are going or gravitating towards the oppressor or the daughter of the oppressors in such a way. And it just hit me out of nowhere. I was like, there's no other race that's doing this. Like, sometimes when I watch these videos, it's like I can't believe it when I hear these brothers talking about, yeah, I'm glad I'm with a white woman, you know, sisters is this and sisters are that, and I'm looking at them like, don't you know I'm looking at you like as a foolish man? Like, I'm looking at you like you're actually gravitating towards your oppressor. Like, that is not very smart, is it? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, is that very smart? Does it make sense? And I think a lot of black people don't understand it's not racism. I don't have nothing against interracial dating, but when you think about it, when you really think about the history that we have with each other, that it kind of makes you think like, wow, like, and some of us don't understand when we see other people are of our nationality looking at you sideways, like, how could you gravitate towards your oppressor? Because it really doesn't make sense to gravitate towards your enemy, your born enemy. It doesn't make sense. It's not a smart thing. And see, what it is about us as a people, we're not doing smart things. And we need to, you know, get more information out there to black people and let them understand, that there is a strategy to survival and there's a strategy to victory if we want to have victory in our suffering. And some of those strategies that we need to get rid of is to stop killing each other, stop turning on each other, stop looking at each other as enemies. Those are bad strategies. You can't get nowhere strategizing like that. But I had to bring that out because I was sitting here thinking, like, we're the only people that gravitate towards the oppressor in the way we do. It's like, it's almost sickening in a way, because if you really think about it, it's like, wouldn't it make sense to build up your own and build up your future and build up your own people? Then if you want to gravitate towards whatever you want to gravitate, it makes sense. But to see actual black men leaving a full functioning black family to go be with a single white woman, it's almost disheartening. You know what I mean? You don't know the damage you're doing. Black man, my brother, when you leave your 3 kids, and I see it in my own city. When you see a black man leave his family and you've been knowing him for a while and you're like, wow, did he just leave his black wife and his black kids to go out with that 25 young girl that's like 10 years younger than him, and you know, and leave his black functioning family, and now his kids is gonna grow up, no telling how they're gonna grow up now because they don't have no father in the house. It's like it's almost crazy. It doesn't make sense. And we got to understand, this is the reason why we can't come together as a nation because we're departing. We're doing a disservice to ourselves. It's almost like turning around and, have you ever seen a dog try to bite fleas, but he turns around and he bites his own ass? That reminds me, what it reminds me of when I see black people running towards their oppressor like they're their savior. How could the same person that put you in a predicament you're in, how could the same person that oppressed you and put you in the predicament you in be your savior at the same time? How can I destroy you and save you at the same time? It's impossible. It doesn't make sense. And you wonder why people look at us and they don't give us no respect. Because people only respect strength, unity. That's what they respect. If we want respect, we have to be unified and we have to show strength. Because that's the only thing that people recognize as a strong people. Now, if they see us departing and arguing and bickering with each other and running off with our oppressor, because every other nationality in the world knows the white people oppressed us. So when they see us dating white people or gravitating towards white people, they look at us like, they shake their head because that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? So the next time you're somewhere and people are looking at you kind of strange, remember they're looking at you because they don't understand why you are gravitating towards your oppressor. Peace.